fights inevitably, break out at these,
Yeah.
during spring break for whatever reason. And people are sitting there videotaping it and watching it. I would say run away. You see a fight, I know we all want to watch it and see what happens and videotape it and post it, but you never know where that could lead to.
Hey, what up? It's Papa Key, the people's voice in the building. We got the one and only attorney Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. What's good, my brother?
What's up, my friend? Just, working, plugging away. Another day at the office.
I love it that you're able to do the interview while you're working because you have such a busy life. You're the attorney that always takes the call, so that
Always,
keeps you
always. I
busy.
much prefer coming into the studio because I get to see you in person, but this is the next closest thing. So we're good.
No, I love it. I love it. Listen, so Big Al, spring break is like coming 2 weeks.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
going to be here. South
Unbelievable.
Florida is going to turn into a mosh pit.
A
It's going to be
madhouse.
crazy.
A
A madhouse.
madhouse. Yep.
What are some things that you would like, as an injury attorney, that you would like to advise not only the spring breakers, meaning our young folks, but also maybe their parents? Just some things for us to be aware of. What kind of calls do you get for
Listen, we
spring
get
break?
we get all kinds of calls, but like most importantly is when you think spring break, I want you to think of crowds, right? So wherever you're gonna
Mm,
go, people are gonna go to the Music Factory, they're gonna go to Ultra, they're gonna go to all these different festivals, all these hip hop festivals and music things that are happening during the course of March for spring break, and the beaches are packed. The people, you've seen it, we've all seen the beaches packed with thousands of people, and police are out there in full force. So they're gonna be enforcing alcohol laws, so like open bottles of alcohol. You don't want to have
yep.
any of that. They're going to be, if you're driving around and you don't have a driver's license or you're with your permit, they're going to be checking with those. You definitely don't want to be driving beyond what the permit rules of your driver's license allow. We were talking about that with your daughter, who at one
Yeah.
point, and my kids who had a permit. So you got to make sure you follow all those rules. But most importantly is just crowd congestion on the road. So just watch out, take your time, don't speed. There's going to be a lot of people from out of town coming in here. They don't know our rules, they don't know our roads. So be smart. But then also like premises liability cases. We talked about this also where, if you're going to these clubs or these events, a lot of them are pop-ups. They're here today, gone tomorrow. They're here just for a few days. So a lot of the things are set up maybe not in the best standards. And so I get calls from a lot of people at music festivals, particularly for trip and falls, because these promoters come, they put up these barricades and they put up, all these different types of pop-ups and stages. And sometimes they're not put up with the crowd in mind and how many people are going to be there. So just be very careful out there. Be mindful of trip and fall hazards, slip and fall hazards. Anytime there's a lot of people, I try to avoid crowds like the plague. But I get it. My kids want to go to Ultra, so I tell them, hey, no fancy jewelry, no alcohol. Just be smart. Try to avoid the crowd as much as possible. What I'm always amazed is, and I see this all the time, and maybe I'm running a little bit too much here, but what I want to say is that like fights inevitably, break out at these,
Yeah.
during spring break for whatever reason. And people are sitting there videotaping it and watching it. I would say run away. You see a fight, I know we all want to watch it and see what happens and videotape it and post it, but you never know where that could lead to. It could lead to police.
There's a yeah. You have a good point there. I've literally seen people wanting to get a good shot of the fight and go close to the fight,
Yep.
and when the police come, they get dragged right into it.
You get dragged right into it, and then you say, "Oh, it wasn't me." And then all of a sudden, you get into a tussle with the officer, and now you got resisting
Yep.
arrest. So you just want to avoid that situation. I always tell my kids, and I have 17-year-old kids, I have a 19-year-old daughter. I know this spring break they're going to be out and about, and I tell them, "You see a fight, you see anything that happens, just go the other direction. Be away from the situation. You don't want to get lumped into that, and oftentimes you are. So you got to be
Yeah, that's
careful."
great advice. Great
Yep.
advice. Well, listen, give us a few things because you already mentioned, like, going to a festival and, you got people who slip and fall and have injuries because things are not set up properly. What are some other things? Of course, car accidents are going to happen with
Car
so much
accident.
congestions, What-
Car accidents are definitely going to happen. There's going to be a lot of DUIs, so a lot of drunk drivers. So I want to tell people that if you do happen to get into an accident, whatever the circumstances are, make sure, just like in any other situation, get a driver exchange information. You know, the person might be say, "Oh, I'm from out of town. Let me do a cash deal with you." You don't want to do that. You want to make
Why?
sure.
Why wouldn't you want to
Bec
do that? Tell them.
because listen, you might be hurt, your car might be damaged, and they want to offer you $500 or $1,000. Sounds like great, but the next morning you get up and you got quite a bit of pain in your neck and your back and whatever the situation is. You want to document it because next thing you know, this guy might call the person who hit you might actually call his insurance company and say, "Oh, this person hit me." So now they're
Wow.
the first to bite the apple. So you want to make sure that you're always first, document everything, take pictures of everything. So to me, during this spring break, just it's so congested. If you can avoid the crowds, that's my number one thing. We all want to go and have a good time, but if you can avoid the crowds, avoid the crowds. If you can't, just be smart, be safe, watch out, call me if you need me, but just be very, very, very careful.
All right, let them know how they can get in touch with you, brother.
Come on, they know by now. 1-800-HURT-123. You can always reach me 24/7 or on Instagram or any social at Attorney Big Al. But yeah, I'm gonna be here all weekend. I'm gonna be at Ultra, so it should be a good time. I'm a little older, but hey, I love it.
That's what's up. Now, listen, definitely go and check out his social media because there's a lot of gems, how I like to call it there, things that I didn't know that you drop on your social media. So I really appreciate that, Attorney Big
I
Al.
appreciate you, my friend, my brother, my
All
partner
right.
in crime. I love you,
Yes,
and
sir.
thank you for having me here. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll do this again, baby.